The owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Alright everyone, I hope you're doing well. It's Saturday, March 19th, and this video is going to be very important. I ask that you share it with as many people as you can. Now, if you're not familiar with a company called Placer.ai, I've covered them in the past multiple times. I believe them to be an active Israeli intelligence gathering operation in the United States. Now, I came across this company by accident when I was researching the attempted Mexican Congress bombing of 2001. Two Mossad agents were detained at that time, and one of them just so happened to have the exact same name as the CEO of this company, Placer.ai. Now, I wasn't able to prove that it's the same guy. However, the CEO of this company is former Unit 8200. This happened in 2001. Supposedly, this guy joined in 2002. And when I put my video out originally, he actually changed his LinkedIn page. It was either the next day or the next few days after. They also deleted their Dailymotion channel, which had their promotion video on it. I was able to save it before they deleted it, but the day I put my video out, that very next day, they deleted their Dailymotion channel. It was very, very suspicious, and it made me think that I was onto something. Now, if you haven't watched those videos that I've done on the subject already, it won't be necessary. I'm going to give you as much information and context as I can in this video so you can understand what I'm talking about and why I believe that I'm correct when I say that this is an active Israeli intelligence gathering operation in the United States. I was inspired to make this video because I came across this article yesterday off the markup.org. This was put out January 27th of this year. Life360 says it will stop selling precise location data. Now, this article actually mentions Placer.ai by name, and it seems to be giving them preferential treatment for some reason. The family safety app Life360 announced on Wednesday that it would stop selling precise location data, cutting off one of the multi-billion-dollar location data industry's largest sources. The decision comes after the markup revealed that Life360 was supplying up to a dozen data brokers with the whereabouts of millions of its users. So this website comes out with an article and this business just decides to change everything up because of it. Why? If you're not doing anything wrong or anything illegal, why would you change things up just because you were exposed in this article? The app, which boasts more than 35 million users worldwide, will still be selling location data to the firm Placer.ai, but in aggregate rather than raw, precise form, Hulse said. He's the CEO of the company. In a call with investors on Wednesday, Hulse said that the transition from selling to about a dozen location data partners to just Placer.ai and Arity, which is part of Allstate, should not affect the company's revenue. He did not share how much the deal with Placer.ai was worth. And it says Placer.ai didn't respond to a request for comment. For some data partners, Life360 would send location data without any hashing or fuzzing to obfuscate the user, Hulse told the markup in December. In November, Hulse told the markup that the direct server transfer for location data only applied to certain partnerships, but not all. He also acknowledged that some data partners received hash data while others, like Q received raw, precise location data. Now, he doesn't specify about Placer.ai and whether or not they got data that was obfuscated or data that was raw. Hulse didn't answer the markup's question on Thursday about whether Life360 will aggregate the data before sending it to Placer.ai, or if Placer.ai will aggregate the data it receives. Companies throw terms around like anonymous and aggregated all the time without actually specifying technically what they mean, said Justin Sherman, a cyber policy fellow at the Duke Tech Policy Lab. Most often, the data is not really anonymous or aggregated because it's all too easy with so much data out there to link random data points back to specific people, Sherman said. Placer.ai is also a major figure in the location data industry, having recently raised $100 million in funding with $1 billion in valuation. The company announced on January 12th. I covered that as well. The company provides aggregated location data for traffic analysis and plans to expand with data including vehicle traffic, web traffic, and purchase data, Noam Ben-Zvi, the company's CEO and co-founder, said in a press statement. Its companies include Sony, Wayfair, Wegmans, and Planet Fitness, according to the company. Placer.ai boasts that it receives location data from more than 20 million devices and more than 500 apps. Now, those apps, they don't disclose to you who they are. They could be anybody. They could be Facebook, Google, they could be Instagram. They don't tell you who the apps are that they partner with. Now, I'm going to play for you real quick a portion of the video that I put out September 15th of 2020. The reason being, I have his original linked in the way it appeared at the time before he changed it after I put my video out. So very interesting, the one detail he happened to change, right? Check this out.
that he was Israeli intelligence, and most likely is still Israeli intelligence. I'm going to go ahead and say this guy is an active Mossad agent in the United States. How do I know he was Israeli intelligence? Well, when you scroll down his LinkedIn profile, you see right here, October 2002 to October 2009. He was a data science team leader. It just says 8200. Well, what is 8200? Unit 8200 is an Israeli intelligence core unit of the Israeli Defense Forces, responsible for collecting signal intelligence and code decryption.
Okay, so this guy was Unit 8200, right? And he changed his LinkedIn profile like I told you when I put my video out. It was either the next day or just a few days after. So this is what his LinkedIn profile looks like now. You can see Noam Ben-Zvi, CEO and co-founder of Placer.ai. When you go down and look at his experience, however, he changed it from 8200 to just say IDF. So why did he find it important enough to have to remove that one specific detail out of his profile, right? And you can actually still see that he was 8200 on sites like alumnius.net. You can actually go right here and see his profile, Noam Ben-Zvi, CEO of Placer.ai, and it says 8200, October 2002 to October 2009. So he didn't change it everywhere, but he found it important enough to change on his LinkedIn for some reason. Now let's talk about Unit 8200 a bit. This is off wikispooks.com. Peter Roberts, Senior Research Fellow at Britain's Royal United Services Institute, characterized the unit as, quote, probably the foremost technical intelligence agency in the world and standing on par with the NSA in everything except scale. Now listen to this right here. Cooperation with the National Security Agency. The U.S. National Security Agency and Unit 8200 have collaborated on numerous projects, most infamously on the Stuxnet virus, as well as the Dooku malware. In addition, the NSA is known to work with veterans of Unit 8200 in the private sector, such as when the NSA hired 2 Israeli companies to create backdoors into all the major U.S. telecommunications systems and major tech companies, including Facebook, Microsoft, and Google. Many of the key managers and executives in these companies are now former Unit 8200 officers. So after reading that article about Life 360 and the deal that they have with Placer.ai, I decided to look into Placer.ai's privacy policy. Now, I hadn't looked into it before, but I thought might as well because they could actually have something damning inside of it. Sure enough, they do. If you actually read it, they tell you what they do with your data, and it's pretty scary. Categories of Placer customers may include, among others, developers and operators of mobile apps that have integrated our SDK and users of our data analytics without integrating the SDK. So they have 2 privacy policies. You can be a direct customer of Placer.ai using their analytics software, or you can use one of the mobile apps that integrate their SDK. Again, the mobile apps that they won't tell you who they are. They won't say who's using it, they just tell you in that article that it's 500 apps. Placer customers may be retail stores, restaurants, brands, researchers, and advertising agencies, just to name a few examples. So it says Placer's technology is deployed via integration of our SDK in thousands of mobile apps and millions of devices. So this right here actually contradicts that article. Is it 500 apps or is it thousands of mobile apps, right? And again, they won't tell you who they are. Placer's technology collects data such as geolocation data, which is scrubbed of any personally identifiable information to protect the privacy of consumers. Using the aggregated and anonymized data, Placer provides data analytics and actionable insights to Placer customers. Now, we just read in that article, right? They tell you it's aggregated and anonymized. It doesn't always mean it is. In fact, it might not be at all. They just tell you that. They don't actually tell you what makes it aggregated or anonymized, okay? Such data analytics and actionable insights may include foot traffic patterns and consumer preferences, among other examples. If you're a consumer, we may collect information relating to you such as geolocation and proximity data, if you've enabled your device to share location information, IP address, unique device identifiers for advertising, Google Advertiser ID or IDFA, and/or pixel identifier, event information about your device such as crashes, system activity, hardware settings, system configuration information, time and date information, dwell time near points of interest as determined through beacon, Wi-Fi, or other signals using our proprietary systems. Generally, the information we collect is not information that identifies you personally. Again, so they say. We receive such data from mobile apps that have integrated our SDK. the mobile apps, they won't tell you who they are. We rely upon the developer and operator of these mobile apps to enable your connection to our services to provide or withdraw consent with respect to the collection and use of your information. We strive only to collect personally identifiable information if you voluntarily provide it to us or the applicable Placer customers by your consent, such as information you provide when completing a registration form, information you publicly share over social media, and other information you make available based on your privacy settings on third-party apps and services and by your consents. So again, you need to read the privacy policy for every single app you use because you might be inadvertently giving this company all your information without even realizing it. First of all, we do not share PII with any third parties unless explicitly permitted in this privacy policy or with your consent, which you might be giving them, like I just said. Generally, to provide our platform services, we use our proprietary tools to analyze and manipulate the data collected, such as geolocation information, and the data is scrubbed of personally identifiable information. Again, so they say. But here's where it gets interesting. We may disclose information about you if required to do so by law, or in the good faith belief that such action is necessary to comply with laws in response to a court order, judicial or other government subpoena or warrant, or to otherwise cooperate with law enforcement or other government agencies. You know, cooperating, just like the NSA cooperates with Unit 8200, of which this guy is a former member. Okay, so here's where it gets even more interesting. We may transfer information that we collect about you to affiliated entities or to other third parties across borders and from your country or jurisdiction to other countries or jurisdictions around the world. Remember, this country is located out of Israel as well as the United States. If you're located in the European Economic Area or other regions with laws governing data collection and use that may differ from U.S. laws, please note that you are transferring information, including personally identifiable information, to a country and jurisdiction that does not have the same data protection laws as your jurisdiction, and your consent to the transfer of information to the U.S. and the use and disclosure of information about you, including PII, as described in this privacy policy. So think Five Eyes, right? They don't have permission to spy on their citizens, they'll just give it to another country who can spy on them, do it quote-unquote legally. Okay, and this is an example of information that they've collected in the last 12 months. It says information we collect. The table below sets forth the categories of personal information that we have collected within the last 12 months. A real name, postal address, unique personal identifier, online identifier, internet protocol address, email address, account name, social security number, driver's license number, passport number, or other similar identifiers, okay? Now, this isn't as a direct customer of Placer. This is as a customer of one of these apps which use their SDK. Again, the apps, they refuse to tell you who they are. A name, signature, social security number, physical characteristics or description, address, telephone number, insurance policy number, education, employment history, bank account number, credit card number, debit card number, health insurance information, race, color, ancestry, national origin, citizenship, religion, marital status, medical condition, physical or mental disabilities, your gender, pregnancy, sexual orientation, whether or not you're a veteran, genetic information, personal property records, genetic, physiological, behavioral, and biological characteristics or activity used to extract a template or other identifiable information such as fingerprints, face prints, voice prints, iris or retina scans, keystroke, gait, or other physical patterns, sleep, health, exercise data, browsing history, search history, information on a consumer's interaction with a website, physical location and movements, audio, electronic, visual, thermal, olfactory, or similar information. I mean, guys, this is ridiculous, right? Now, do you think this company's working in your best interest, or do you think they're partnering with Israeli intelligence so they can get your information, possibly even working with the NSA? So this right here was Placer.ai's Daily Motion channel. Now they deleted it. Not just the video that I saved before they deleted it, but they deleted their entire channel, and they did this the day after I uploaded my video. Now ask yourself, why would they do that? At the time, I was nobody. I had no subscribers. I was a literal who. And they found it important enough to go ahead and delete their entire channel the day after I put my video out. That should tell you I'm onto something. Why would Noam Ben-Zvi, the CEO of the company, find it important enough to change that one detail on his LinkedIn profile from saying Unit 8200 to just saying IDF. Why? This company is worth looking into. If they didn't take those steps and actually delete their channel and change those details on his page after I put my video out, I probably would have just left it alone. But then I thought, wow, they actually went out of their way to do that? I must be onto something. So again, please share this video with whoever you can. Please look into this company, and I have a feeling they're going to have to address this at some point because there's no way they can't. They're going to have more and more pressure put on them until they just dissolve, change their name, or whatever. So I'm going to end this video with the video that I saved off their Dailymotion channel before they deleted it, and then I'm also going to play the phone call that I made to Noam Ben-Zvi, where I personally asked him if he's working for Israeli intelligence. I think you'll find that interesting. Again, please share this video.
Placer.ai delivers unprecedented visibility into consumer foot traffic to drive your business forward. We harness data from millions of mobile devices to capture billions of store visits, enabling anyone to access a 360-degree view of any location. The Placer.ai dashboard provides real-time insights into audiences and competition, allowing you to discover new business opportunities. Get accurate foot traffic counts and dwell time. Aggregate by weekly or monthly visits. Discover true trade areas where customers live and work. Filter by frequent customers, day of week, and demographics. Know where customers are coming from and going to, and along which routes they travel. Analyze customer profiles, income, gender, where they eat, shop, and spend time outside the center. Benchmark performance against local or distant competitors, providing true transparency into market share and competitive advantages. Our advanced analytics shed light into cross-shopping, event analysis, share of time, churn, and much more, helping you build data-driven strategies. Placer.ai, with unprecedented visibility, anyone in the retail industry can be brilliant at running their business.
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, I'm trying to reach Noam. I don't know if I have the correct number.
This is the correct number, yes?
Hi, is this Mr. Ben-Zvi?
Yes.
Hi, I had a quick question for you because this number pops up for a Stanga Games. I didn't know if it was related to that, or is this only related to Placer?
Related to what?
Stanga Games, Stanga. It pops up as that number, but I thought it was for Placer.ai.
This is Placer.ai, yes.
Oh, okay. Can I ask you a question? Are you Israeli intelligence? Is Placer.ai an intelligence gathering operation? He hung up.